The world is but a colossal stage of makeshift performances. Yet, I find myself submerged in absurdity. My father is a financial magnate, while I struggle to comprehend even the simplest arithmetic within the range of 10. My mother is a stunning film diva, whereas I possess an utterly unremarkable appearance. My brother established his own personal art exhibition at the tender age of 4, while I, at 5, could only babble behind him like a toddler. Even the household staff, Aunt Wong and Uncle Chun, are noteworthy figures. One a retired titan, the other a concealed expert. Fortunately, they all dote on me immensely. Gradually, I have come to terms with my reality. Until one fateful day, a prodigious girl, who has taken the internet by storm, arrives at my doorstep, demanding that I relinquish my place as the true heiress. At last, the anxiety that has plagued me for years has met its demise. One that from a young age, I always felt like an outsider within my own family. My father is a financial tycoon, and my mother an international film star. Yet, I possess an average intellect and an unremarkable appearance. One might argue that extremes inevitably lead to their opposites. My brother, however, excels in every conceivable aspect. He founded his own art exhibition at 4, joined elite classes at prestigious universities at 8, and by 15, was nominated among the top 10 most handsome faces globally. I long to harbor jealousy, to twist my feelings, to crawl in the shadows. Ultimately, I chose to reconcile with myself. After all, the ancestral grave cannot perpetually emit green smoke. I drifted through life, merely existing, until, that is, the internet sensation, the prodigious girl, appeared at my door. The nurse in the delivery room confessed that she accidentally swapped us at birth. I am indeed the true daughter of the Sioux family. You are so ordinary. How could you possibly be my parents' daughter? Today, I shall reclaim everything that rightfully belongs to me. Watching arrived alone, yet carried the imposing presence of a multitude. Her assertions were so emphatic that our entire family, no, I mean, my family and the other trio, fell into contemplation. My aloof father inquired, "Swap?" My glamorous mother responded, "How would I know? After giving birth, I was too busy counting stretch marks. Wasn't the child entrusted to June?" My stoic brother fell silent for 3 seconds before coldly uttering, "I was merely 3 years old at that time," and my glamorous mother fell silent for a few seconds before continuing to deflect blame. "Yet you adored holding the little treasure, consistently asking me if you could share your delightful toys with your little girlfriend, Nuan Nuan. Nuan Nuan is not my girlfriend. Yet every time she sees me, she sweetly calls me mommy." I felt as if I were sitting on pins and needles. Watching's expression grew increasingly unsightly. As I observed my mother and brother drifting further apart in their debate, I could no longer restrain myself and interjected, "Father, mother, brother, look at my face, then look at hers. Surely, we resemble a family more closely." She pointed at me, seated on the sofa. I touched my utterly unremarkable face and nodded in agreement. Throughout my life, my brother has garnered compliments such as handsome, good-looking, and the spitting image of our father, while I received merely, "This girl is quite pretty." It was disheartening. Moreover, I have always been an exemplary student, yet she has consistently been at the bottom of her class, even purchasing her university diploma. Watching continued to present her evidence. Upon hearing this, I felt a twinge of shame and lower my head. Since my school days, my brother has always secured first place without contest, while I invariably found myself at the bottom. Teachers, undeterred, provided me with extra tutoring, only for me to end up in the ICU due to the pressure. Hayes. She held onto my hand tightly, persistently questioning, "What is the true nature of your relationship with him?" I felt guilty, reflecting deeply. The night before the exam, I studied tirelessly, determined to master an entire mathematics book. Yet, during that exam, I became infamous as the first student to receive a 0 while filling the paper with mathematical formulas, earning notoriety throughout the school. Recalling this, I turned to my parents and brother, my expression grave. "Is it possible, perhaps, that you truly are a family?" My parents fell into contemplation. My brother wore a serious expression. Watching continued to plead, "Mom and Dad, do you not believe I am your daughter? I have wandered alone for 18 years, and after finally returning, how can you doubt me?" As the atmosphere grew increasingly tense, Aunt Wong, who had remained in the shadows, finally spoke. "Sir, Madam, young master, young miss, is there not a technology available today known as a paternity test?" The process of paternity testing proceeded quite smoothly. The results would be available in a month. Watching was displeased and engaged in a heated argument with the staff. "Why must the results take a month?" "Because it's queued by number. Do you know who I am? A citizen." "Who gave you the audacity to speak to me this way?" "The state, a public institution." The staff remained expressionless. Du watching, infuriated, stamped her feet. I felt my toes grip the ground in frustration. Onlookers began to gather around, and unable to bear it any longer, I approached and gently pulled her arm, advising, "Why not just wait? It's only a month." Before I could finish, she shook me off. "Shut up. You must be hoping for another month of occupying my space. But I will not grant you that opportunity." She released me and immediately seized the young staff member's lab coat, commanding with great vigor, "I order you to produce the results today, or you shall bear the consequences." The consequence was that Watching received a 3-day detention. Upon her return 3 days later, she requested to move into our home, claiming she wished to experience the warmth of family that she had long been deprived of. My indifferent father replied, "Wang Ma, prepare a room." Watching was overwhelmed with emotion, her eyes glistening with tears. "My parents have long recognized my identity. It's truly wonderful. From now on, I will be at your side, every day." She shot me a provocative glance and declared loudly, "I want to make up for the companionship I have missed." I turned my head away, suppressing my expression. Companionship? Since I can remember, I have awakened in a 500 square meter mansion each day and had breakfast at an 8-meter-long dining table. The fixed members of the household were Wang Ma, Uncle Chun, my brother who returned home on weekends, and our 2 Doberman dogs in the yard. Loneliness and coldness were the hallmarks of my childhood. In my youth, I relished gazing up at the sky at a 45-degree angle, perfectly embodying the sorrow of youthful pain. Posting on social media phrases like "money cannot buy love and companionship" and "understanding needs no questions." If you don't understand, why ask? Naturally. This behavior ceased during the New Year's Eve dinner when my brother took screenshots of my social media posts, enlarged them proportionately, and created a PowerPoint presentation that looped at the dining table. I did not wish to revisit those mortifying memories, and I felt a twinge of pity for Watching. Her dreams were destined to be unfulfilled. However, my resplendent mother beamed with delight, applauding enthusiastically and exclaiming, "You said it beautifully." I too wished to make up for past regrets. "You're so beautiful. I must dress you up as a stunning little princess." A stunning little princess? Upon hearing this, my brother and I instinctively took a step back in unison, our mouths opening and closing in hesitation. Yet, watching my mother excitedly pull Watching along like a giddy young girl, my brother and I exchanged glances. Our mouths opened again, only to close once more. "I have so many beautiful clothes that have never been worn. Finally, I have found a model. This is wonderful. Mom, if you wish, I would be willing to be your model for life." "Really? Oh, how thoughtful. I'm about to cry. Having you is such a blessing." Watching was swept away in the moment. After a while, she cast a sidelong glance at me. "Mom, have you never dressed up my sister before?" "Well, it's understandable. After all, she's not your biological child, so of course, there's not that same intimacy as with a biological mother and daughter. Just like the 2 dogs in the yard, their bond is deep and affectionate. Only a biological mother and daughter can share such closeness. Fakes can never become real." Watching rambled on, becoming increasingly explicit. "Look at how they huddle together. It's a reflection of our family." I couldn't help but remind her. "De Huang and Xiaohei are both male."
Du Rukin smile froze.
I added. "They were neutered over a decade ago." Her face turned a vivid shade of crimson. However, her expression quickly regained its previous smugness. My mother excitedly dragged her upstairs, and as they left, Watching didn't forget to cast a victorious glance at me. Oblivious to the sympathy in my eyes, I wished her good luck. Lunchtime came, and the dining table still hosted 4 individuals: myself, my brother, my mother, and Watching, who was now dressed like a dopamine doll, in luxurious attire, exquisite jewelry, and a high-top hat. Not haute couture, but a high top.
I gazed at Du Rukin,
who was adorned with an 8-layer cake-like decoration atop her head and makeup akin to a medieval specter. My sympathy deepened. Throughout my life, my mother, an internationally acclaimed actress, had dedicated herself to creating the most beautiful dolls. Unfortunately, I was of mediocre talent and often adopted a carefree attitude, constantly falling short of her expectations. My brother, although exceptionally gifted, had perfectly inherited our father's aura as a financial mogul and learned from an early age to wield a killing glare that consistently left my mother defeated. Yet, I knew my mother had never given up. She amassed an array of dolls, and even ordered proportionate dolls in my father's name. A scandal that had once made headlines. Snapping back to reality, I observed Du watching, constrained by her corset, unable to sit and forced to eat standing up. As she reached for food, the 8-layer cake wobbling precariously on her head, she bent down, causing the powder on her face to fall into her bowl. My brother remarked, "It's not Christmas. Why set up a Christmas tree?" I usually wouldn't laugh unless I couldn't help it. My mother, upon hearing this, immediately frowned. "Isn't it beautiful? She looks just like a doll." Her eyes twinkled like blooming peach blossoms. My brother retorted, "Dolls don't need to breathe. She's about to suffocate." My mother's demeanor faltered as she looked at Du watching with concern. Yet, I could only wonder how the now purpling Du watching felt. Facing my mother's rare display of concern, she forced a smile that was more grotesque than tears. "No, I'm all right. Don't force it," I kindly cautioned. But she took offense and retorted, "You wouldn't understand. A parent's love for their daughter is heavy as a mountain. This is not a shackle, but the weight of my parents' deep affection." As she spoke of this heavy affection, a crisp sound echoed through the air. Crack. Du watching's expression began to contort, her body trembled, and ultimately, under the weight of the 8-layer cake, she toppled backward with a deafening crash. What followed was utter chaos. Indeed, parental love is as heavy as a mountain. When Du watching returned from the hospital, my father had also come back. I watched as the mummified Du watching was escorted upstairs by my parents, silently gazing up at the sky at a 45-degree angle, lost in thought. "Miss, don't overthink it. After all, you lived in the Su family for 18 years, Wang Ma approached me, draping a blanket over my shoulders, her tone comforting. I straightened up, slowly shifting my gaze to her face, and said earnestly, "Wang Ma, I've come to a realization." The nurse who switched me and Du watching was quite astute. Wang Ma was taken aback, her expression complex. I placed my hand on her shoulder and continued. She must have foreseen that Du watching and the Su family were incompatible. Wang Ma's mouth fell open. If she has become like this after just 2 returns, how could she have survived 18 years at home? Surely, there was someone wise who swapped me in to shield her from disaster. After a few days of living at home, Du watching finally sensed something amiss. At the dining table, she confronted me with a question. "Why do I see you every day?" "Because it's not the weekend." I served myself a bowl of soup without looking up. "On weekends, you'll see one more." "What about Mom and Dad?" she asked indignantly. I took a sip of soup and pondered, Turkey, France, Tokyo, or Paris. Her face darkened, cursing me for reading absurd lyrics. I shrugged, my expression one of resignation. I spoke nothing but the truth. After all, financial titans soar through the skies, and the nation's golden actresses roam the land. However, Du watching found it intolerable. She fixed her gaze upon me, her eyes reddening with tears. Her expression of grievance bore an uncanny resemblance to a young Xiaohe. When I first found Xiaohe, it too wore a pitiful countenance, but after receiving a toy ball, it joyfully chased it around the yard. Yet, that toy ball had been played with by Xiaohe for many years. I wondered if it would mind my offering it to her. I bit my lip and tentatively inquired, "How about you join me?" Du watching immediately burst into tears. That evening, to my astonishment, both my parents and elder brother returned home. Our family of 5, along with 2 employees and 2 dogs, filled the living room, marking the commencement of an unprecedented family meeting. Du watching took the lead. "Dad, Mom, I wish to become your true daughter." My parents exchanged glances. "Has the appraisal report come through?" my mother asked, flipping through her calendar. "Has it really been that long? I feel as though I left home just yesterday." My father, ever stoic, furrowed his brows and began sifting through emails on his computer. "Have we still not secured the project in the south of the city for 3 months? The planning department is utterly useless." My brother, with his typical deadpan expression, chimed in, 3 days, 18 hours, and 37 minutes. My parents simultaneously exhaled, visibly relieved. Du watching's expression grew even more pitiable. "Dad, what I mean is, after all this time, I hope to embrace the responsibilities that a daughter of the Su family should bear, rather than living a life of idleness like her." She pointed at me. My brother seemed to grasp her intent. "You wish to be the heir?" His tone was cold, his narrow eyes scrutinizing Du watching. And the insight within them made her falter. Du watching responded earnestly, "All children of the Su family are alike. I simply wish to share the burden and become a source of pride for Mom and Dad, just like you. Dad, trust me once. I have always looked up to you as a role model. I aspire to be like you. Please grant me the opportunity to prove myself." I couldn't contain my laughter and quickly cover my mouth. Ahem, Wang Ma and Uncle Chin reminded me from behind. I hurriedly composed myself and attempted to diminish my presence. Du Ruoqing continued, recounting her years of solitude and yearning for a sense of belonging, her voice choked with emotion. My mother was touched. Old Sue. The child simply seeks a sense of validation, perhaps. My father, still frowning, exuded an air of authority. At that moment, my brother spoke up. I have no objections. Upon hearing this, my father finally relented. Very well, Uncle Chun, arrange some courses for her tomorrow.
Du Ruoqing was ecstatic.
When she looked at me, her expression was one of superiority. I lowered my head, letting out a deep sigh. The youth had no inkling of the challenges that lay ahead. On the first day of her courses, Du Ruoqing cried again. Faced with towering stacks of books and workbooks, her small mind seemed on the verge of collapse. Uncle Chin stood by her side, his expression unchanging. Miss, starting today, I will hire instructors from various fields to provide you with one-on-one tutoring, adhering strictly to the young master's rules. However, the young master has been studying since childhood, so his progress will undoubtedly be swifter than yours. But you need not worry. I have already arranged a systematic learning plan to ensure you catch up swiftly. Today's subjects include finance, management, market analysis, planning, piano, guzheng, yangqin, German, Arabic, Spanish, and astronomy.
Wait.
Du Ruoqing could not bear it any longer, her lips trembling, tears threatening to spill as she clung to a shred of hope and asked, "Why must I study astronomy?" Uncle Chin replied, "Moreover, you must also learn household management. The children of the Su family are well-rounded and excel in all areas." Du Ruoqing retorted, "But she is so idle."
She pointed at me.
I, caught off guard while munching on chips and engrossed in a show, looked up in confusion, meeting her reddened eyes, and confidently replied, "I merely live off my family's resources." Du Ruoqing's face flushed a deep shade of crimson. Thus began Du Ruoqing's routine of rising at 5 in the morning, completing her morning wash and breakfast, followed by an hour of yangqin practice, an hour of German study, and then a full day of specialized courses in finance, interspersed with an hour of piano practice, concluding at 10:30 in the evening. The next day, the cycle continued. And it turned out that Du Ruoqing had previously complained about only seeing me at home. Now, she encountered many people daily, yet I remained conspicuously absent, leaving her no time to indulge in her previous pursuits. Ultimately, the situation culminated in Du Ruoqing collapsing from exhaustion, resulting in a fractured rib and further injury. She lay in bed, pallid and barely breathing. I stood by her bedside, attempting to offer comfort. In this world, nothing is insurmountable, provided one is willing to let go. She glared at me, her eyes aflame with unspoken fury. I offered her a spicy strip, and she wept with gratitude, though words eluded her. After struggling for breath, all I could hear were the faint sounds escaping her throat. My arm began to ache from holding the treat aloft. Just as I contemplated withdrawing my hand, my stoic brother returned. "Brother," Du Ruoqing cried upon seeing him, tears cascading down her cheeks. Even I, a staunchly pragmatic individual, felt a twinge of emotion. Yet, my brother remained oblivious, hands in pockets, delivering the most cutting words in a detached tone. To wear the crown, one must bear its weight.
Du Ruoqing's composure shattered.
Observing her despondent state, I couldn't bear it and cleared my throat to lighten the mood. "Why are you back?" "Logged on," he replied succinctly. Thankfully, I understood, though my face betrayed my discontent. Just as I prepared to make my escape, I was interrupted by his command. "Hurry." My resolve faltered. I had no choice. Sisters are often the willing servants of their brothers, and I was no exception. Thus, under my brother's frostbitten gaze, I resignedly set down the spicy strip, pulled out my phone, and tremblingly opened the Honor of Kings app. Familiar match or random match, peaceful development or mindless harvesting. I acquiesced. But just as I opened the Timmy section, Du Ruoqing interjected, "Brother, are you gaming? I can play too. Take me along." I looked up at her in disbelief. If I could, I would have struck a dramatic pose and implored her to desist. Yet, Du Ruoqing had already produced her phone, opened the game interface, and with a cheerful Timmy, wore a triumphant expression. "Brother, my performance is excellent. I'm at the king level with Yao Mei. I can definitely carry the team." My intellect far surpasses that of someone else. My hand trembled as I grasped the phone's frame. Noticing my brother and I were silent, Du Ruoqing's eyes brimmed with tears once more, her voice thick with emotion. "Brother, I am also your sister, even if we did not grow up together. Blood is thicker than water. I do not seek to tear this family apart. I wish to join it. Can you please not exclude me?" Listening to her, My heart swirled, with conflicting emotions. 10 consecutive defeats. I remained unfazed, accustomed to the experience. Years of interaction had afforded me profound insights into my brother's character. He appeared aloof and unapproachable, yet within, he was cold and unyielding. With a sharp tongue and a fatal flaw, he was remarkably unlucky. You cannot claim that his skills are inadequate, nor can you assert that his positioning is amiss, yet when paired with him in ranked matches, one inevitably faces a relentless series of defeats. Eventually, I could only attribute this to his mouth, which seemed to operate like a jet engine, incessantly berating teammates into inactivity while the opposing team thrived. If you lack maternal affection, I can provide it. There's no need to coddle the enemy, like a dutiful mother. What items are you building as a support? A shroud for your own burial? Scatter some rice on your phone, and even a chicken would navigate better than you. Are you half paralyzed or fully incapacitated? Playing as Yao while dancing on the graves of your own kin? The Yao displayed on the phone screen meandered aimlessly, utterly lost in her quest to return home. My brother cast a cold glance toward the bedside. Watching's face was ashen. I hurriedly retreated outside, clutching my phone. Having scolded her today, she could no longer berate me. I knew Watching was diligently attempting to win over our parents and brother, but alas, all her efforts were in vain. She messaged our mother. Mom, your new drama featuring a leading lady is truly spectacular. I've penned a 30,000-word essay analyzing your character, highlighting every moment of brilliance. And thus, her essay became fodder for critics, leading to our mother trending for all the wrong reasons the following day. She tidied up our father's study, saying, Dad, I've been working hard lately, studying your archived documents every day, and I've even cleared out a lot of unnecessary materials for you. Consequently, several of our father's significant projects collapsed due to incomplete data. She prepared lunch for our brother, personally concocting mango curry beef brisket. However, our brother, who was allergic to mangoes, curry, and beef brisket simultaneously, had to be rushed to the hospital by emergency services. Our indifferent father inquired, How long until the identification report is ready? Our glamorous mother replied, It's only been a month and 15 days. Our stoic brother remarked, I didn't think I was that hard to kill. My conviction only strengthened. The nurse who made the mistaken switch likely sought to protect, not do watching, but the other 3 members of the Sue family. In the end, the 3 of them, in their painful realization, resolved that regardless of the identification results, they would arrange for Watching to study abroad in Argentina. Argentina, the farthest country from our own. On the day she received the news, Watching wept bitterly, pointing at me with indignation. What about her? She called me out, her voice hoarse. Aren't you going to send her away? This left my father, mother, and brother utterly bewildered. Our glamorous mother queried, Why would we send in away? She looked at Watching with confusion. Upon seeing this, Watching became even more frantic, stomping her feet in anger. She's not your daughter. I am your daughter, and now that I've returned, shouldn't she leave? Only one of us can stay. Our glamorous mother, perplexed, replied, Only children make choices. Can adults have it all? Our indifferent father's cold gaze met her. Both are on the Sue family's household registration. Our stoic brother smirked. The Sue family can afford to raise her. I felt a surge of emotion. I had always believed that I was out of place within this family, yet now, I was their unequivocal choice. Just as tears threatened to spill from my eyes, I heard my mother say, with her dull mind, having been raised by us to become a burden, would she survive on her own? We would be responsible for her. The tears that were about to flow were abruptly stifled. I thought I had discovered the source of my brother's sharp tongue. However, Watching, feeling slighted, insisted on a choice between her and me, threatening to sever ties with our parents otherwise. Our indifferent father asked, Are you threatening us? Our glamorous mother added, After severing ties, can you still model for me? Our stoic brother quipped, Fewer contenders for the inheritance. Watching froze, seemingly taken aback by our parents' indifferent response. In her mind, they should have been forlorn, panicked, caught in a dilemma, at the very least. But only I understood. In a wealthy family, familial ties are tenuous. I had heard that my father, in his quest for power, had even schemed against his own brother. My brother and I grew up in the Sue household, seeing the nanny more frequently than our parents. In their eyes, their careers held greater significance than we ever could. Thus, I could only conclude that Watching had overestimated her own importance. Now, the jester was indeed she herself. A phone call from the identification center ultimately rescued Watching. The report was ready ahead of schedule, and we were summoned to collect it. My father, mother, and brother piled into one vehicle. My compassionate heart overflowed, prompting me to choose to accompany Du Ruoqing in another car. However, little did I expect that this act of compassion would lead to calamity. Du Ruoqing and I were kidnapped. Our captor was Wang Ma. Du Ruoqing was stunned. I was equally astonished. It wasn't Wang Ma's kidnapping that surprised me, but rather the fact that this seemingly ordinary woman, at the age of 50, could single-handedly overpower 20 security guards from the Su family with a mere spatula.
Wang Ma.
I called out, my eyes reddening. Wang Ma paused, her expression towards me complex. Miss, I'm sorry. I'm just following orders. Please don't blame me. With such skills, when we were 10, you helped me chase after my brother, yet you couldn't even help me squeeze in for an autograph. Wang Ma replied, I'm sorry. I had to conceal my abilities. I shot back, betrayers belong in hell.
Du Ruoqing exclaimed.
Are you out of your mind? Is this really the time for such talk? Wang Ma, why did you kidnap me? Didn't you tell me I was the true daughter of the Su family? Upon hearing this, Wang Ma's face turned cold, gazing at Du Ruoqing. Tightly bound to a chair, and seethed. Years ago, Su Jingtian caused the death of my beloved. I swore to avenge him. Thus, I swapped you, a newborn, with the daughter of my beloved, and I've awaited the right moment to reveal the truth, bringing anguish to the Su family. You have no idea how long I've awaited this day. In a rare moment, Du Ruoqing and I found common ground in our silence. Her method of revenge was to bide her time, working as a maid in the household of her enemy, secretly swapping the child of her beloved with Su Jingtian's biological daughter, and eventually revealing the truth at the opportune moment. The world had turned into something incomprehensible. I hesitated, then ventured. Wang Ma, do you now feel even the slightest thrill of revenge? Just a smidgen, a tiny glimmer?
Wang Ma's defenses scrambled.
She screamed at me. I never imagined that the Su family would disregard all sense of kinship. So I kidnapped both daughters. I want to see whom he chooses. The air fell silent for 3 seconds. Cautiously, I reminded, but I'm not the daughter of your beloved? At the moment when Wang Ma was rendered speechless, my father, mother, and brother arrived, accompanied by Uncle Chen. Don't come any closer. I've strapped bombs to them. Wang Ma glared at him, venting years of pent-up hatred.
Su Hintian.
You are utterly heartless, not even sparing your own brother. If it weren't for your schemes, Jingza would never have boarded that doomed flight. My father frowned. You're seeking revenge for Su Jingza?
Wang Ma replied. Exactly.
In my quest for revenge, I swapped your children. The daughter you've raised for 18 years should actually call you uncle. Surprised, aren't you? You schemed against Jingza. Yet you've ended up raising his daughter. My mother, frightened to tears, pleaded, the children are innocent, Wang Ma. Debts have their owners. If you wish for revenge, confront him directly. She pulled my father forward. My brother shot a glance. You understand the importance of cutting out the middleman. I wanted to laugh, but holding a bomb limited my ability to do so. So I continued to remind, Wang Ma, look at me. I am the only remnant of your beloved left in this world. Wang Ma hesitated for a second, her gaze once again turning steely. I can see that you have little affection for your own biological daughter. Instead, you seem to care more for the daughter you have raised for 18 years. With those words, Wang Ma moved to press the button in her hand.
Wait.
At that critical moment, Uncle Chen interjected. Wang Qing, do you not recognize who I am? This world has transformed into an incomprehensible chaos for me. My parents are not my true parents, but the genuine heiress's parents. My brother is not my brother, but the genuine heiress's brother. Wang Ma is no longer a mere caretaker, but an enemy of my family. Uncle Chen is not merely the steward. He is my nominal second uncle and, by blood, my biological father. As Uncle Chen revealed his true identity, I began to doubt my steadfast materialism. In the next moment,
Wang Ma exclaimed in disbelief, Jingzi Jie.
Uncle Chen, the second uncle I had never met, cruelly plotted against and caused my father's demise. According to his account, he was not deceived but had grown weary of the family's treachery, deliberately feigning his own death in collaboration with my father. After living incognito for several years, he returned under the guise of Uncle Chen, taking on the role of steward beside my father. Wang Ma was bewildered. So, there's no enmity?
None.
Then what was the purpose of my 18 years of scheming? Just your infatuation. The abduction had been resolved, but there was still a more pressing matter. In the Su family's living room. So, I am your daughter? I gazed at Uncle Chen on the sofa, or rather, my nominal second uncle. Looking at the handsome face beneath his mask, even more striking than my father's, I felt a wave of inadequacy wash over me. No, you are not my daughter. You are my elder brother's daughter. Now it was my turn to be shocked. At that moment, my brother produced the paternity test results, flaunting them before me and Du Ruoqing, and I clearly saw the matching DNA percentage of 99.95 between Su Jingtian and myself. You are my sister. My brother spoke coldly, his gaze sweeping over me, his tone as disdainful as ever. Although, you don't really resemble him. Wang Ma, incredulous, protested. How is that possible? I did indeed switch the children, she insisted, but I returned the children to their rightful places. Uncle Chun interjected once more. The mystery was finally solved. According to Uncle Chun, after Wang Ma had swapped the children, she secretly exchanged them back, but for all these years, in order to protect her, he had remained silent. Du Ruoqing asked, so I am your daughter? Her eyes betrayed disbelief and a deep sense of resentment, as if she were unwilling to accept the notion of being merely a steward's daughter. No, you are not my daughter either. Du Ruoqing's expression froze once more. Uncle Chun sighed. My wife has long since been unfaithful. When I faked my death, she falsely claimed that a child was mine to acquire more of my inheritance. Therefore, I do not know who your father is. Of course, if you wish, you may call me godfather. Du Ruoqing appeared momentarily stunned, her eyes wide, her lips trembling slightly. After what felt like an eternity, I could no longer bear to watch and stepped forward to offer a gentle consolation. If you wish to cry, then cry. Wang Ma was taken away by Uncle Chen. Du Ruoqing agreed to study abroad in Argentina. As for me, I continued my lackadaisical existence. However, the atmosphere at home had shifted. My aloof father was no longer distant, my glamorous mother was not spending nights in hotels, and my expressionless brother transitioned from boarding school to living at home. With Wang Ma and Uncle Chen gone, my father and mother were more present. In a rare gesture, my father even organized a family picnic. I questioned, there was no need to return just for me. My expressionless brother replied, upon reflection, we realized that we had provided you with insufficient security. It's actually not that bad. Don't think I don't know. Even before the results came in, you were already prepared to leave. I was taken aback, staring at them, swallowing hard. You all know. They were aware of my secret preparations to escape at any moment. Nian En, in our hearts, even if you are ordinary, we believe you are our biological daughter. My mother turned to me, her gaze filled with a tenderness I had never witnessed before. She said, I have never doubted it. My heart felt as though it had been struck. The moment Du Ruoqing appeared, I had been certain of my status as the imposter, for I had always felt out of place in this family. They resembled elegant swans, while I was merely an unremarkable ugly duckling. I thought. For some reason, my nose tinged with bitterness. Just as I was about to speak, the man in the driver's seat interjected, after all, no family's ancestral grave will always emit green smoke. I closed my eyes. All right. The heart that had hung in suspense was finally at rest. The end. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing and giving a like to support. Until we meet again in the next story.